As it turns out, the Jets didn't tank this season, but they do need to address the quarterback spot, even if it's with a prospect who won't see the field until 2019. Re-signing Josh McCown wouldn't be a bad idea. As for the 49ers, another non-tanking team, they ended 2017 as the hottest team in the NFL with Jimmy Garoppolo under center. With Carlos Hyde set to hit free agency, Saquon Barkley would make plenty of sense for Kyle Shanahan's offense, and while those two connections seem too good to be true, with the way the draft order is set up, they're not that far-fetched. Below is the current draft order, which will change a fair amount after pick no. 20. Josh Rosen, QB, UCLA. This past week a report surfaced that Browns general manager John Dorsey was going to pick Josh Allen number 1 overall. A definitive draft-related report before January is a good bet to not ultimately happen, so I'm going with chalk here. Rosen appears to be who the NFL sees as the most pro-ready quarterback in the class. Orlando Brown, OT, Oklahoma. New GM Dave Gettleman gave a relatively strong vote of confidence to continue the Eli Manning era, and while Saquon Barkley is tempting here, Gettleman is an old-school football guy who understands the importance of blocking up front. Quentin Nelson, G. Notre Dame. If Jim Irsay makes this pick, it just might be Barkley. But Chris Ballard, another GM who cut his teeth as a scout for over a decade, knows his offense can't operate at maximum efficiency if Andrew Luck isn't protected well. Nelson is the best offensive lineman in the draft. Connor Williams, OT, Texas. With Rosen and Williams, Dorsey obtains his franchise building blocks within the top 5 of his first draft running the Browns personnel department. That's a win. Cortland Sutton, WR, SMU. John Elway is not happy with his team's quarterback situation, and after taking Paxton Lynch 2 years ago in round 1, I think he goes the veteran QB route in the offseason, even if it's a bridge to the future signal caller. With Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders entering the twilight of their careers, Sutton is the long-term answer at wideout. Sam Darnold, QB, USC. After an overload of tanking talk, and Jets Darnold jerseys sold before the season, the young, talented USC quarterback lands with gangrene after all. He has the most inherent ability of any recent signal caller to wear a Jets uniform, but a year behind a potentially resigned Josh McCown would be the best for his longevity in the league. Bradley Chubb, NC State. The Buccaneers begin to fix their defense with arguably the best defensive player this draft has to offer. Chubb isn't Myles Garrett, but there's plenty of Joey Bozzett to his game. He's a rock against the run too. James Washington, WR, Oklahoma State. Mitchell Trubisky gets a game-breaker out wide who can also stick his foot in the ground and work the intermediate portions of the field. Saquon Barkley, RB, Penn State. Dream come true for the 49ers. They get their quarterback-running back pairing with Jimmy G and Barkley. I'm still trying to land on a Barkley comparison. He's very similar to Ezekiel Elliott, and the best one I've seen on Twitter is Aaron James, Roquan Smith, Pound, Georgia. Another exquisite match. Reggie McKenzie might want to go cornerback, but he went that route last year with Gareon Conley in the first round. Smith can change a defense due to his speed to the football against the run and athleticism in coverage. Minka Fitzpatrick, DB, Alabama. With Xavier Howard, who really came into his own down the stretch in 2017, and Fitzpatrick, the Dolphins would boast two youthful, long cornerbacks out wide. Fitzpatrick is also a tremendous blitzer. Baker Mayfield, QB, Oklahoma. Will Marvin Lewis keep Andy Dalton? Maybe. Even if he doesn't, there's a chance the Bengals look ahead at the quarterback position with Mayfield. In a creative system, he can be a dynamic playmaker. Josh Allen, QB, Wyoming. If Kirk Cousins walks, the Redskins' most glaring need is, of course, quarterback. Allen is more of a traditional quarterback who has the arm strength Cousins lacked. It'll just take time for Allen to fine-tune his game to have any chance of being a successful NFL signal caller. Derwin James, Florida State. The Packers go best player available here, as they're surprised James is still available. He and Clinton Dix would formulate a tremendously versatile tandem at safety. Mason Rudolph, QB, Oklahoma State. It's a new era in the days it one that needs someone to be the face of the franchise after Carson Palmer's retirement. With plenty of experience and production in college, Rudolph can be that guy for the Cardinals right away. Ogbonnia Okoronkwo, OLB, Oklahoma. Terrell Suggs did things in 2017 the vast majority of 35-year-old pass rushers who had suffered major injuries in the career don't do. However, the Ravens do need to address the edge rusher spot for the future. Okoronkwo is smaller than most of the defenders Baltimore likes up front, but he plays bigger due to a speed-to-power skill set. When it comes to getting after the quarterback, HES as refined as they come in this class. Colton Miller, OT, UCLA. The Chargers have been afforded the luxury of having Miller in their backyard all season, and the tall left tackle protected Josh Rosen well. He also flashed a physical nature on combo blocks for the run game. Chukwuma Okorafor, OT, a Western Michigan. The Seahawks might bolster the offensive line in free agency, but picking another talented offensive tackle would hurt. Okorafor is a punishing run blocker and has the feet to thrive in pass protection. Joshua Jackson, CB, Iowa. With Jackson, the Cowboys get their number one cornerback who's ready to contribute instantly, and face the likes of Odell Beckham Jr., Alshon Jeffrey and Josh Doctson within the division. Darius Geese, RB, LSU. The Lions run this pick to the commissioner. Geese is a throwback feature runner with powerful suddenness between the tackles. Marcus Davenport, UTSA. The Titans love the upside of Davenport, and the fact that help's not a long-term project. With his length, explosiveness and rather large arsenal of pass rush moves, he can be a double-digit sack guy early in his NFL career. Morris Hurst, DT, Michigan. Can't get away from this pairing. Hurst is the best one-gap defensive tackle in the class, and when Sean McDermott and Buffalo GM Brandon Beane were in Carolina, the defensive line was a draft priority. Harrison Phillips, DT, Stanford. Another productive interior defensive lineman, Phillips is a highly touted run defender and with some added quickness, he can be an impactful pass rusher in Dan Quinn's defense. Tremaine Edmonds, Pound, Virginia Tech. The Saints need linebacker help, and Edmonds is a specimen at 6'4" and 250 pounds with springy athletic talents. He can play any of the off-ball linebacker positions in New Orleans. Calvin Ridley, WR, Alabama. With the future of Allen Robinson murky, the Jaguars could use more receiver help. Ridley is an older prospect but is fluid at the line of scrimmage and at the top of his route stem. Lorenzo Carter, OLB, Georgia. Carter is loaded with SEC experience, and at 6'6" and 245-ish pounds, he has an imposing frame on which he could add more weight. In Buffalo's defense, Carter could play the Sam spot close to the line, rush off the edge or sink into coverage, all responsibilities he has handled well during an underrated Georgia career. Malik Jefferson, Pound, Texas. The Rams roster is well built, and an infusion of athleticism at the linebacker spot could help the defense behind Aaron Donald and co. Anthony Miller, WR, Memphis. Another older prospect, Miller is reminiscent of Panthers legend Steve Smith. He's a smaller outside receiver who thrives in contested catch situations and seemingly always plays with a chip on his shoulder. Denzel Ward, CB, Ohio State. The Steelers' defense took a step up in 2017, and in 2018, there's a good chance Pittsburgh will be interested in upgrading its secondary with Joe Hayden unlikely to be around for many more seasons. Ward is a playmaker who can eventually be a number one cornerback. Mike McGlinchey, OT, Notre Dame. The Eagles don't have many holes either, and with Jason Peters nearing the end of his career, Philadelphia might want to invest in its offensive line. GM Howie Roseman might like the S of Lane Johnson and McGlinchey at his two tackle spots in the future. Rashaan Evans, ILB, Alabama. ITDB an all-Alabama pairing at inside linebacker for the Patriots if they picked Evans here. Donta Hightower will be returning from injury in 2018, yet when healthy, HES one of the most productive off-ball linebackers in the league. Bill Belichick trusts his old coaching buddy Nick Saban, and Evans is a reliable linebacker prospect. Will Hernandez, UTEP. The Vikings are set up to contend for a while, and if there's anything they could upgrade, it's the interior of their offensive line. Hernandez isn't a flashy pick, HES just a sturdy guard will improve Minnesota's entire offense.